Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about in Article 210, which covers branch circuits, is 210.70 required lighting outlets. Battery-powered control devices are now addressed. Lighting outlets are now required in laundry areas of dwellings. Exterior illumination via indoor lighting is not allowed. Funny little thing there. Bulkhead doors are now addressed, and the requirements for stairway dimmers were clarified as well. All right, so lots to talk about here. 210.70, lighting outlets. Lighting outlets must be provided in accordance with 210.70 A through C. All right, so is that a lighting outlet? Yes, it is. It's a lamp holder, not a luminaire. But actually, if I were to take that lamp holder off and put a blank plate on it, that's the lighting outlet by definition. All right, so you don't necessarily need illumination in the NEC, you need lighting outlets. So putting a blank cover over that would be compliant as well. Although honestly, I think a keyless lamp holder like that is actually less expensive than a blank, so might as well put on a keyless. 210.70 says switches or wall-mounted control devices must not rely on a battery unless loss of battery power energizes the lighting outlet. Okay, this was an interesting discussion. There's certainly pros and cons to this. In the 2020 code, we started recognizing wall-mounted control devices. I think it was in the 2020, maybe it was in the 2017. This thing in the photograph is not a switch. All right, if I have a wireless control device like that, the actual switch is in the luminaire. So we address switches and wall-mounted control devices, and in this section we mainly say, listen, you need to have a wall-mounted control device. Okay, well, a switch, an old school, 120 volt switch, that is a wall-mounted control device, right? It's mounted in a wall. It's a control device, so don't get carried away thinking, oh man, I can't use regular switches. Of course you can use regular switches. We're just acknowledging that maybe the days of 120 volt switching are going away. I think we all kind of realize that. So if this thing relies on a battery, and it probably does, then when the battery dies, it has to turn the light on. Okay, so there were arguments about this, saying, listen, if the wall switch, the obvious discussion here is, look, what happens when the battery dies? Does that mean your lights don't work anymore? Well, that could be a hazard, right? We need illumination. If illumination wasn't important, this section wouldn't exist. So obviously we need to have light. So we want the lights to turn on when the battery dies. Now the other argument, which I guess is valid, but just, come on, is what if I'm working on the light when the battery dies and it turns on the light and it kills me? Oh boy, come on. Look, I'm all about worker safety, I am. But if you want to go down that road, if you want to talk about worker safety, well, if you're doing it right, the circuit breaker needs to be off, right? The control device is not allowed to establish an electrically safe work condition. And number two, what are the odds that the battery happens to die after 30 years, right when an electrician is making? Come on. So when the battery dies, the light needs to turn on. Okay, guess which house is the electrician? In dwelling units, lighting outlets are required in accordance with A1 and A2. A1 talks about bathrooms, habitable rooms, kitchens, and laundry areas. Now the title up here you can see was obviously revised because we talk about a lot more than just habitable rooms in this section, but the title only said habitable rooms, so now it's added to actually match the code language. And as you can see, we also added laundry areas. Laundry areas, just kind of one of those things that didn't require a lighting outlet. Probably should have, but it didn't. So at least one lighting outlet controlled by a listed wall-mounted control device must be provided in habitable rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, and now laundry areas. Fine. The control device must be located near an entrance to the room. All right, so we never used to talk about switch location. In my opinion, that was always a design issue, not a safety issue. So in the 2020 code, they changed it and said, it needs to be located near an entrance to the room. Okay. Doesn't have to be in the room. It could be outside of the room. This photograph here, back in like the 50s, at least in my area, it was normal to put the bathroom light switch outside of the bathroom. I have no idea, to this day, I have no idea why that was so popular, but I can tell you, man, growing up, when me and my brothers would go to my grandpa and grandma's house, if one of us had to go to the bathroom and was in there for more than about 8 seconds, me or my other brother were right behind him turning the light off, so anyway, kind of one of those fun little, this picture always just kind of takes me back. This isn't my grandparents' house, but they're, very similar scenario. All right, exception number 1. In other than kitchens, bathrooms, and laundry areas, okay, so basically habitable rooms, right? So in habitable rooms, bedrooms, living rooms, receptacles controlled by a listed wall-mounted device are allowed instead of lighting outlets. So you don't need a lighting outlet in the ceiling or wall sconces. You can just have switched receptacles, but you can't have those in kitchens, bathrooms, and laundry areas. No problem. Exception number 2. Still talking about dwellings. Occupancy sensors installed at a customary wall switch location can also control the lighting outlet as long as they have a manual override setting. It may seem weird that we're talking about occupancy sensors installed at a customary wall switch location. Well, for those of you guys that do commercial, we install occupancy sensors all the time up in the ceiling, right? And what we're saying here in residential is, listen, you want to put an occupancy sensor in, be my guest. You're not putting it in the ceiling. All right, it's got to be somewhere where I can actually override the setting. It makes sense when you think about it. Additional locations. A lighting outlet controlled by a listed wall-mounted control device is required for hallways, stairways, garages, and detached garages or accessory buildings that have electricity. Kind of one of those things that slips through the cracks, right? You've got a detached building in your backyard. If it's a garage and you run electricity there, you need a lighting outlet. If it's a tool shed and you run electricity out there, well, I guess you didn't. So now you do. Yeah, come on. Item 2. This one's kind of a funny one. For dwellings and garages, an exterior lighting outlet controlled by a listed wall-mounted control device is required to illuminate the exterior of personnel doors. This is one that was submitted by my friend Russ. He's good at finding little quirky holes in the code. He and I are always finding weird little things. So what if you had a window next to this door and this light didn't exist? All right, so scratch this light. You got a window by this door, and in the garage you have light that shines through the window and illuminates the exterior of this door. Okay, for dwellings and garages, an exterior lighting outlet controlled by a listed wall-mounted control device is required. Makes sense. Yeah, you got to have a light on the outside. An indoor light that shines through the window does not count. Exception to item 2, and really this is kind of a mistake. This needs to be an exception to all of this, not just item 2. For an outdoor or exterior bulkhead door at grade level with stairs to a basement. So think Wizard of Oz for a minute. The lighting outlet can be in the basement within 5 feet of the lowest step, and the point of control can be integral to the luminaire or lamp holder. Look, you're not going to put a switch at the top of these stairs. So do you really need to have a switch up here? Well, obviously not. Do you have to have a switch down here? So we're addressing bulkhead enclosure doors, or Dorothy doors as they're often called. So there you go. Probably a good idea that we have an exception for this. The last thing for stairways, when lighting outlets are installed at interior stairways, a listed wall-mounted control device is required at each floor level. So switch up there, switch down there, and at each landing level if the landing includes an entryway. If the stairs between floor levels has 6 risers or more. So in this photograph, we need at least 3 wall-mounted control devices. One at the top, one at the bottom, one at the intermediate landing, only because there is a door at the intermediate landing. That's been in the code for a while. Item 4 was added, I think, in the 2017. They made a small little change in the 2020, and it ended up being a major screw-up. And again, look, code's written by humans. We have a right to make mistakes. So, in the 2017 code, they made a rule that said, listen, if you want to put a dimmer to control your stairway lights, you need to have a dimmer at the top and bottom. In the 2020 code, when they changed it from saying a dimmer switch to saying like a wall-mounted control device or whatever. They meant to make just an editorial change. And what they accidentally did in the 2020 is they said, listen, you have to have a dimmer for your stair lights. Full stop. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. That was never the idea. We don't, if you don't want to put a dimmer, don't put a dimmer, right? We're not going to make you put one in. But the 2020 code accidentally said you have to have, thou shalt have a dimmer for the stairway lights. Okay, that's not required. What it says, and what it always meant to say, is stairway lighting must not be controlled by a dimmer unless a listed wall-mounted control device at each level can establish the maximum brightness of the lighting. So if you choose to put a dimmer at the top or at the bottom, then you have to put a dimmer at the top and the bottom. And both locations have to be able to fully control the illumination range. So what we don't want to have happen is mom and dad are downstairs, it's date night, they're on the couch, they're snuggling, they turn the stairway lights all the way down to 0. And then the kids up here wake up, they want to go downstairs and get a drink or something, and they go to turn the lights on at the top of the stairs, and they can't turn them on because mom and dad dimmed them down to 0. Next thing you know, the kids are taking a header down the stairs and ruining your date night. So they need to be able to undim the lights, right? You need to be able to do it from the top and the bottom if you choose to put in a dimmer at all. Again, you don't have to have a dimmer, but if you choose to put one in, you have to put in one at the top, one at the bottom. All right, so there you go. We made it through Article 210. We're going to get into Article 215 in the next video. We'll see you then.